Hi, this is Stephanie Stock from Ohio Advocates for Medical Freedom. We're unfortunately bringing yet another tragic story today from the state of Ohio, where Ken is being denied a heart transplant at Christ Hospital in Cincinnati. He's joined with his wife today, Christina. They're both here to tell us a little bit about what they've had to go through with their experience with vaccine status discrimination at Christ Hospital here in Cincinnati. So, Christina, I'm going to let you kind of take it away here and just give us some of the backstory on how you got here, the list of vaccines they required, and then the one that finally was the last straw. They said, nope, you're not getting on the list unless you do it.
Ken became very sick during a family vacation in Texas in December of 22. Was admitted into the hospital, was told that he tested positive for COVID. He was very sick, very, very sick. In isolation, I wasn't allowed in. A lot of things happened in that short time. Ken became well enough to fly home. At his release from the Texas hospital, we were told that he, in fact, did not have COVID, that he's suffering from severe heart failure. And in January of 23, Ken was admitted into Kettering Health here in Ohio. Again, in April of 23, and received office care from April until present. He went from that to just constantly being sick. He was sleeping on his hands and knees because he couldn't breathe. It was everything he could do to get through a work day. Long story short, a year ago today, Ken was transported to Kettering in Dayton, Ohio. He was declining very fast. His heart was very sick. He had good care there. His person made a choice that he needed to go to Christ, and I knew that when they said the word Christ Hospital that it was not good. Again, Ken was fighting for his life at that point. He laid for 11 hours at Kettering for a transport. I was told the reasoning was because he wasn't a vaccinated person. That caused a little bit of an uproar. His doctor then stood up for him, got him transported to Christ, where Ken deteriorated very quickly. Doctors assessed the situation, said Ken needed a heart transplant. He was in total compliance with whatever they were telling him to save his life. He had, like I said, been suffering for about 2 years at this point. We went through all the scans, all the testing. They did a surgery to remove fluid from the heart. They did save his life. They did what they told me they were going to do. So upon prep for the transplant, as I had mentioned, all the scans, and they're working on him diligently because he's fighting for his life at this point. So he was number one. He was receiving the next heart that came in as long as his body was otherwise healthy. All the tests and scans came back clear. He was in perfect health other than a very sick heart. It came time to sign consent and to receive vaccines. When the question was asked about COVID vaccination, he was told that yes, that was on the list. And Ken immediately denied that he did not want to put that into his body. They sent someone to explain everything to us again. Ken still refused to have the COVID vaccination. And we were told at that point that he would not be receiving a transplant. That is their guidelines that you have to have a COVID vaccination to receive a heart.
Wow.
Because Ken was so sick, I was then given the decision. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Take your time. This is a really emotional thing to go through.
They told me that they could insert what's called an LVAD, which is a ventricle, it's a heart assist pump. It's called an LVAD. It's the HeartMate 3, which is what Ken has here. It's connected to the bottom of the heart. He has a drive line under his shirt, and this is the actual device that helps everything operate, sends alarms and all that. They did that in an emergency surgery to save his life. He almost didn't make it through the surgery, let alone through the night. I was asking at that time, knowing that he was in such bad health and that his life was on the line, to speak with whom I thought were all the proper people, the director of nursing, social workers, send me the chaplain, I need his head doctor. And everyone told me the same thing. When I was trying to fight for his rights, to me, it's his right. So it's his choice. It's his body.
Yeah.
He should be able to be the leader of that, no matter what it is. So to be told that he was so sick and possibly not going to live, and that they were going to not give him a transplant due to his personal choice and religious beliefs based on a vaccine, it was just absolutely mind blowing. So then you go into fight or flight mode. Like you're a mess. You're turned upside down. Nothing makes sense. You don't trust anybody. You're afraid to say what you feel or think because you're going to be judged for it. You're afraid to ask the questions because you want him to receive the best care. And the scare tactics are a real thing. I've lived it for a few years. It's a real thing.
Yeah, there's definitely bullying that goes on. Now, to be clear, just so everybody that's watching understands, he was offered the LVAD as a replacement for getting a heart because he refused the vaccine.
Yes.
That is correct.
Okay, so they're leaving you on a long-term device which can lead, and it sounds like it has led to other health problems for him, because it's basically, to me it sounds like a punishment. Really, it's a punishment alternative for not complying with the vaccination policy for the transplant team.
If they would have granted Ken the gift of life from someone's family who chose to give it, he would have already been back to work. Our life would have resumed as normal. He would still be able to ride his Harley and have a day-to-day job. He would be able to provide for his family. He would be able to play with his grandkids and go do things with his children. The list goes on and on. Because he has not received the heart and his heart is so sick, a lot of things go hand in hand when your heart is that sick. Ken now suffers from a list of things, from heart failure, type 2 diabetes, severe risk for cardiovascular disease, major depressive disorder, insomnia, kidney failure, heart muscle disorder, stage 3 chronic kidney disease. And that's just a few. That's 10 plus items right there.
Yeah, and it's all because of vaccine status discrimination. We we have this. I know you guys found us from a friend who saw the story about Adeline Deal, who's also dealing with this at Cincinnati Children's. She can't get a heart because of vaccination status. So this is still going on in 2025. Actually, it was going on before COVID. Most people don't know. Most of these hospitals had flu vaccine requirements, MMR, sometimes other things, to get transplants before COVID. COVID is what shed a light on how severe vaccine status discrimination is and can be. If it's let to fester, which is what has happened here in the state of Ohio. OAMF has been fighting for vaccine choice legislation, anti-discrimination legislation, since 2015. We have a Republican super majority. I can't say that loud enough. You two are sitting here today, and Adeline's family is sitting where they are because we have a Republican legislature that refuses to act. We are done. We are tired of this. The citizens of Ohio deserve better. Ken deserves better. Adeline deserves better. Tanner and the Donaldson family deserved better. And we have a bill being introduced tomorrow afternoon, Conscientious Right to Refuse. Representative Gross is our champion bill sponsor. She has been with us since she came to the legislature in 2021. She's being joined by Representative Beth Lear. We're currently looking for Republican co-sponsors that are brave enough to stand for people like you, put their name on this bill and push for it. We need to get this done for Ohio citizens immediately. This should be done immediately. We should not still be here. Now, first priority is we need to get Ken a heart. So we're doing everything that we can to get information for you guys to get him somewhere that will actually give him the treatment that he deserves so that he can live his life again. And your granddaughter can have her grandpa be around for her. And you almost brought me to tears earlier when you sent me that photo of her with him, with his, listening to his heart.
She takes very good care of her Pat. She's a wonderful helper. She brings a lot of love and light to our lives.
And
she's probably the saving grace.
Yeah, and she told you that she wanted to grow up to be a ballerina and a doctor.
Yes,
So
and Mrs. Claus.
And if we can pass conscientious right to refuse, she'll be able to become a doctor, because under that legislation, it also protects employee rights to decline vaccination for conscientious reasons. So right now, to get into medical school, you have to get an assortment of vaccines for that as well. This situation of vaccine discrimination is pervasive across the board for everyone, and it's absolutely got to stop. So do you guys have anything you would want to say to the legislature? Anything from your hearts? Now, Representative Rodney Creech is your representative. He is already co-sponsored. So thank you, Rodney. You've been with us since 2021.
Yeah, thanks for everything you guys are doing. I mean, my faith, you know, it ain't about me. It's about others that should be getting the heart of the kid. You know, I got trust in God, and when I went through surgery, it's all in God's hands. And that's what I'm leaning it to now. It's all in God's hands. But I'm doing this. I don't like being on camera or nothing, but I'm doing this for all the little ones and everybody else that needs it worse than I do.
Well, God love you, Ken, for standing up and putting it out there. And we're fighting for you, and we're fighting for the little ones too. But I don't want you to think you are any less important than anyone else. Ken, you are just as important as any child in this state. Okay. Everyone matters. Everyone matters, and everyone needs protection. We are not going to exclude anyone from this legislation. There is nobody going to be cut out from this bill. So, your senator is Senator Steve Huffman. He is the chair of the Health Committee. So when the time comes, this bill will be going through his committee. He has not been favorable to us on our right to try legislation. That didn't go well. We hope he'll do the right thing with this legislation. He can still turn things around and do the right thing. So I hope that you guys will reach out to Senator Huffman and ask him to support you guys in this effort. And I hope that he will work with OAMF to help get this legislation done. As with Speaker Huffman, his cousin, we hope that he will work with us to get this bill done as well. So we are going to have a dedicated section on our website for you and Ken as well, so that people can know about your story, talk to their legislators about it, and encourage them to get signed on to this legislation. I don't know if you guys are in need of any kind of funding, or if you have anything set up, or if you guys are doing okay. Please let us know if there is some way that you need to help get funding. If you do need to go to a different location, we'd be happy to put that up for you so people know where to donate. We've done that for Adeline as well. Everybody needs to go to ohioamf.org. Find out what you can do to help get conscientious right to refuse passed, and what you can do to help these folks and others like them to get the help they need and deserve, and to end vaccine status discrimination permanently in the state of Ohio. So thank you, Christina, and thank you, Ken. You guys made yourself available like last minute's notice, and you were so well prepared. Thank you for getting that story out in such a concise way for people to hear it. So we'll get this out as soon as we can. We will be with you every step of the way. Christina, you can text me anytime. We're going to keep working on getting you transferred to a place that's going to get you taken care of, Ken, as soon as possible. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. We appreciate the platform. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And I would like to say that we are praying for Adeline and her family.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I know that Janine will be happy to hear that too. And hopefully we can get everyone connected. I would love for, to have a way where you families that have gone through this, it's like PTSD, having to go through this. It's almost good for you guys to connect with other families that have suffered this. It's hard for anybody to understand what that feels like unless they've gone through it. You almost need like a support group. I'd be happy to connect you with other families that have gone through this so you guys can kind of get some support too. And of course, God is our ultimate support, right? The fact that
He's got us. We're okay. We'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
He sustains us all, right? And we pray that he'll help us get this bill done too. Like in God's will, let's get this bill done. So thank you again, you guys. We will keep in close contact.
Thank you, Stephanie.